Oh, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sleeping Tiger. Oh, from Alaska. All right. Robin, Richard, Shark, Rhino, Shalor, Queen, Chuck. Good afternoon, everyone. Take it you all had a good lunch or a good break here. No more. Last one. John Michael. Good afternoon. Let me see. You didn't work out. All right, let me get the door. Here we go. Oh, you didn't eat either. Let me guess. You were watching the market, looking at this trade here. I'm not gonna lie, I took a long on my demo account during lunch, and actually it wasn't during lunch; it was just before. So I took it. I must have took a long somewhere in this area, right as we were getting off and heading to lunch. So maybe it was this first candle here, maybe. So, but I didn't watch it. I walked away since it was in demo. I didn't really care about the result enough to watch it, and so whatever happened happened, and it TP'd out. Yeah, definitely. See, Queen, for me, I eat lunch after the afternoon session because it's only 1 o'clock for me when that happens. And that's usually when I would have lunch anyway. So it's a perfect time. Now, in the winter time, when we're on mountain time and we finish our session at 2 o'clock, I usually get hungry during the final hour. But now that it's summertime and we're on West Coast time, it's fine. Welcome back, Molly and Sniper. You said 309 looks good for shorts. All right, before Queen reminds me, let me mark up the session highs and lows. Clearly, this is the lunch high. Okay, so we're still in a bearish 15-minute breaker here. In fact, let's go to the 15-minute time frame just so we can see it on the frame it was created. The only thing that sucks about the range is that the breaker and consequent encroachment is, it looks like equilibrium of the range. Okay, not quite, but right, consequent encroachment of the fair value gap is at 307. Was that the area that was just that number sounds? Oh, sniper said 309. Okay. I'll try to hold it on this time frame for just a bit here and see if it develops, if anything develops that we should be looking at. You know what? I want to put the New York Open, but it overlaps the midnight and it's just ugly. So we'll just have to remember the midnight open is also was also the lunchtime high. All right, Sing. Hello, Sing. Welcome back. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and like the live stream. Let's see if we can't get more than 40 or 50 likes in this first hour. I mean, I know a lot of you wait until the very end of the stream, but let's go ahead and hit the like early. See if YouTube won't promote us during the session and we get a few more traders in during our session today. Mm-hmm. Yes. So we could have taken a long at 257. That's what Queen is saying. As soon as this hour started, it swept the lunch low. It's the first thing it did, and then started buying up. Hello, Infinito. Welcome back. Good to have you again. 1257. Let's go back to the 1 minute for just a moment. You said a 1257 candle. Hmm. Um, for a break of structure, do I prefer psychological numbers in trading? Yeah, let me look at the lower time frame and see. I do have the 15-second up as well. Mm. But if you're saying psychological numbers, you mean like whole numbers or that kind of thing? Trying to think what you mean by psychological numbers for break of structure. All right, looks like we're getting a retracement back in line now. But honestly, no, I haven't really seen on the lower time frames. I'm not seeing where I would have saw like a change in the state of delivery until, yeah, the 1257 candle on the 15-minute is represented that level. That would have been something that would have been worth taking. It doesn't really look like it here on the 1 minute, but on the 15-second, it looks more intriguing. But even then, taking any entry here, I'm not sure my entry would have survived this stop hunt here at 102. Okay, Ray, you were looking for the midnight open up to 18303 or in that area, 18300. Yeah, I've always heard that the numbers are, I think, 20, 50, and 80 are the numbers. And obviously zero. So 0, 20, 50, and 80. Mm-hmm. Yep. So right here being at 300. But honestly, I haven't back tested enough to use those numbers, but I've heard them thrown around a lot. ICT uses them sometime. I've heard other traders talk about it, especially the forex group. People who do forex, they really love those kind of numbers. But I haven't made it a big part of my trading. Mhm. 50s and 100s. Okay. Yeah, and I heard those numbers are big because those are the numbers that the institutions use. Speaking of turtle soup, did anyone view this as a turtle soup entry during lunch at the top at 18,300? Okay. Tap the consequent encroachment of the 1 hour. Okay. Okay. Nine and 71. 29 and 71 and 89. Those are unique numbers. Never heard those numbers before. I'll keep that in mind. Appreciate that, M. Anyone take a trade during the lunch hour? Goodman Sniper, you're right. Traded down to roughly 250. Oh, Sleeping Tiger. All right. Good job. Yeah, I just went back and looked at my entry. My entry was at 265 right at 12 o'clock. So 12:02, I think it was. So somewhere in here, 265. So it must have been at the top. Maybe it was in as this candle was trading down. But anyway, it was 265 and exit was at 294. So I got out. I think it was this candle. Actually, no, it was this candle. One of these two. It was at 212. So it didn't take very long, and I was already out. It went a little bit higher, but my trade was closed. Oh, that's interesting, Sniper. That you say on mini is 251 and on micro is 250. So that means that most of you trading on micros have a slightly different chart than what I'm looking at. Or sometimes you may get tapped into a trade and I'm still waiting on confirmation. Yep, so it traded from 300 down to 250. All right, Queen, it's almost 1:30. So would you then shift this down here and say this is the lunch low now? All right, let's get back up to the 15 so it's a little easier to read. No, Queen, I have not been counting the swing points. Sorry. On the 5 minute, I think we got 6. Let me see. Let me see if I'm doing this correctly. So we have a swing point here, 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 or 5. I guess there was one here too. So basically 6. And then we got a retracement. See if I can mark them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hmm. The 3 Indian, yeah. Yep. So that would be, this would be 1, probably 2, and 3. So now you got trend line liquidity coming up with this swing low, this swing low, this swing low. So at some point you would expect for price to tear through, sweeping all the lows. Yep. Yeah, I agree with you, Sniper. Taking an entry that's close enough, as well as exits that are close enough, is the right approach to ensure you get in, and like Queen said, ensure you get out as well. Well, Dave would be spot on. You said 4 to 6. I counted these 6 swing points. Hopefully, they all qualify. But even if they don't, and it's 5 or 4, that still is within the range that Dave said, 4 to 6. And then we see a a little pierce below where structure was being supported. We see a trade above, and it starts to fail. Trading back down, we even get this wick that's above this swing high. However, the candle body stays below. So I would like to see price continue lower and get the 130 low. So the 1 o'clock low. So I did, Queen, normally, I would have put my low at the 1 o'clock or before 1 o'clock low, whatever the lunchtime low was. But I know you said that you like to use um, time between 11 and 1:30. So I shifted it down. Now we're at 18,251. See if that's still a magnet for price and if it's going to want to tear through that. That's right. Let's shift over our macro markers as well. There we go. Yeah, we could actually see these equal highs swept, which would be the lunchtime high, and that's at 18,303. Especially since we've already got a retracement, and a retracement fell into the fair value gap right here. Oh, okay, Jonathan. Mm-hmm. Jonathan, I did have a short on my demo account, which I closed in a 10-point loss. I closed it because I saw these equal highs as being a viable option for price, and that would have wiped out my stop loss. So it was better to cut ties where it was and just look for another entry later. That doesn't mean it's going to go there. Just price was looking like it wanted to go a little higher, and so I no longer wanted to be in the trade. But it looks like consequent encroachment of the breaker is rejecting price and sending it lower. Okay, my without looking at the numbers or without having any real figures, I would lean towards shorts, but yeah, you're right. We should track it. Sniper, are you looking for the down at 18,160 level? You said equal lows, or are you talking about maybe these equal lows here at 252? And let's see if price wants to get the lunchtime low. Lunchtime low was created right at 1300. As soon as we started the session, it put in that low and then started buying up. And then we just kind of consolidated ever since then. But we've been eyeing that low for the better part of 40 minutes now. Let's see if this is the one to do it. We have equal lows. You see this candle's low is 262 and a quarter, and now this candle 262 and a quarter. So we just put in equal lows on 5 minute. Oh, spoke too soon. We still have another 2.5 minutes on the current candle. Yep, we have the macro coming up in 60 seconds. We're going to drop down to the 1 minute now. All right, here we go. Just before the macro, we got a trade down to the edge, to the lower edge of the breaker. Now, as we trade back up, let's see how far it wants to go. We do have equal highs into a fair value gap. But that lunchtime low is just right here, 251. All right, so we had a protected low here that was swept at 1246, which then sent price trading lower. Protected high then became here after this low was created. And we've traded to it once, twice. We have not closed above. However, we also have not closed below um, our most recent low. And so we're just stuck in the range here. And we've just been ranging for better part of an hour. Looking to see if price wants to sweep the low. Of course, the lunchtime high is at the midnight open. We just had a bearish reaction out of bearish fair value gap right here. Traded right into it, put a wick, and started pushing lower. However, once again, did not sweep the previous swing low. We've almost gotten there. See if we can get 5 more likes before the next 6 minutes is up. Wanted to see if we can get 50 likes in the first hour. Yeah, you're right, Ray. The hourly looks bearish, and we're inside of a rather large hourly fair value gap, a bearish fair value gap. So all of that looks good for bearish price conditions. However, now we're still just ranging, waiting for that breakthrough. And maybe this is it. Sweet. We got it. Thank you all for your support. I really appreciate you. We got 55 likes in the first hour. And here's, looks like that bearish run is getting ready to start. Okay, maybe not. Pilot, how's it going? Good afternoon or good evening for you. True open at PM sessions. Okay. 8:30 was a gauge. That's, oh, I see. Okay. So do we take the level, the price level at 130, or is just take the lunch high and low at 130? In a sale. Okay, Miss Healthy. Maybe price is looking for the turn of the hour to start moving in our direction. Let's give it another minute and see what happens at 2. Okay, got it. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. Go here. I want to make sure it wasn't just going for the lunch low and then wants to turn around on us. If it continues, I'll stay in the trade. If it turns around, then no harm, no foul. If I'm not mistaken. No. There she goes. Look at that. All right, Robin, catch you tomorrow. Yep. No, Nasaya, I'm not currently in any entry. I did take a quick sale, a short, right here at the breaker, but I didn't really believe in it, and that's why I put my stop at break even immediately. And price has a way of not letting you continue on if that's the way you trade. But it's fine. I should have never entered since I didn't believe in it. The indice queen. Yeah, taking a trade out of this breaker here, since it's such a large range, I would need to take it somewhere here. That's why when I took it right at the edge, I was like, okay, I need to protect this entry because I don't want a retracement all the way back up. That would have been 30 points of agony that I just don't need right now. Mhm. Minute breaker. Let's look for at least a 3, maybe a 5. Big sell side for sure. Mm. Oh, we just had an impulse candle, a couple, creating a fair value gap right here on the 1 minute. So trade back down with the wick into this area. So maybe you can take a long. If you do, you're going to want to look for something close, something local, maybe a double top here or here. So 296 out of 62. So you'd be talking about 30 points there maybe. Or we have the midnight open, which also has a set of equal highs there as well. And that's also the lunch high. So that could be a target as well, for about roughly 45 50 to 48 points. And if you're looking for a breaker, you can use this one on the 1 minute. Let's see if we get a confirmation. We got to get it this minute because then we'll run out of time for the macro. So we got another 15 seconds. See if it can close above that 1330 open. Didn't quite make it. Shift back over to 5 minute now. All right, let's see if during this hour we get a run up to the midnight open to take out the lunchtime high. Same here, Trader Kartik. Welcome back. Good to have you. What power hour? Yeah, yeah. We still got 45 minutes before power hour, so let's see what we get during this hour. Hopefully, it's not a lot of consolidation. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want lower prices while you're still in the long. Yeah, that's true. Let's see if we can get a run up to the midnight open, and then from there we see price turn around on lower time frames, which give us an entry, and maybe it'll do that at the end of the hour in about another 35 minutes or so. So hopefully between now and then you get a run up to 18,303. So far, looks like we have an impulse candle here, sweeping above the 1330 open. Now we want to see in the next 30 seconds if we get a candle that closes above, and then the following candle continues to push in that direction. So we'll go ahead and stretch these out a bit. Mm. So we got a 1 minute unicorn set up, but I'm not sure it's going to hold just because I mean, it's the 1 minute. So those are lower probability than the 5 minute ones that we normally look at. The 1 minute that we were hoping would close out at the end of the previous macro did finally confirm at 18 after the hour. Right. So anyone who remembers from 210, just right as we were finishing up the macro there, we were looking to see if we would get a confirmation on a breaker here. So we got that part, and then we got this part. These two up close candles. Then we had a breakdown lower, and then a trade above, closing above right here at 218. Then that also, the following candle created a fair value gap, giving us the unicorn setup. And then we had two consecutive candles afterwards trade into the fair value gap right here. And now we're seeing it trade out of it. Just want to just make sure everyone still understands this is on the 1 minute. So definitely want to make sure that your targets are more localized and a little closer to home, or at least that you are properly have your stop loss where it needs to be. See price push a little lower when it gets down to the lower edge of the larger breaker down at 256. Let's see how price reacts from there. I like how it lost the fair value gap, but immediately the next candle came back to reclaim it. All right, while we're waiting on price here, let's check out the other chart to see where the other indices are trading, as well as the U.S. dollar, to see how that's performing. No, I do not trade in crypto. I own crypto in a portfolio, but I don't trade it. And not that I won't ever, but it's just not something I want to bounce around. I'm not every night looking at the chart and finding the 5 charts that I want to trade the next day that look like they're setting up. I don't want to be that kind of trader. I want to trade 1 or 2 pairs, and that's it. And everything else is just maybe back testing a different pair that I trade. So I'll make sure that it's a brand new chart. But outside of that, no, I'm not a trader that's bounce around from chart to chart. Okay. All right. So sorry. All right. So looking at the USD. So we did earlier this morning. I remember we were looking at the 1 hour. We had a bearish fair value gap that was right here, and we also had one that was right here. So it tore through the first one, and then I remember just before 11 o'clock we were up in this range, and I think it was trading back down. But before the hour close, it came and took out the swing high here, and even since then it's still been buying and buying. Hasn't quite taken this swing high. If it takes that swing high, okay, so we do have a shift in market structure from here. Yep, because when it put in this low at 8 o'clock, it made this the protected high, and that protected high has been traded above and closed above. All right, so then that would make any type of retracement we get, we're going to look at this fair value gap as where price is going to probably support itself or find some footing. Now, it may trade in here and just stay in here for the rest of the day because the dollar has a tendency to be really slow in the afternoon and have a small range. So we don't really get a lot of activity from the dollar. And sometimes that bleeds over into the indices where we don't get a lot of activity. But other times we still, even when the dollar is lethargic, we get indices moving well. Um, Look at the Dow. Okay, so the Dow hasn't really done much this afternoon. from early on, we had this high that was sought after, or we looked at it this morning thinking that maybe we'd take that high because we saw S&P do it, right? If you can, and this was the high from yesterday. S&P took that at during the 9 o'clock hour, so the opening bell is what drove through. And as Ray mentioned, we got within 2 points on NQ for taking the same level, yesterday's high. So it didn't quite get there, and the Dow didn't even come close this morning. So it's definitely the weaker of the three. And just by looking at the way things are trading now, yeah, I would say Nasdaq is the stronger of the three, but honestly, it's not saying a whole lot. Nasdaq and S&P are very similar right now. But you can see on all three pairs, this 1 hour bearish fair value gap is holding price. We've had trade to it, 1, 2, 3 trades into with declining highs and rejections out for the last 3 hours. We still have another almost 30 minutes in this hour, so we could rebound and push higher, eclipsing the previous two highs. But then again, we'll have to wait and see if that happens. But I just wanted to give you a quick update on how the other pairs were trading as well as the dollar, and now we'll get back over to Nasdaq. Trader Carrick, I looked at that bank for you yesterday. Yeah, I'm not gonna every day analyze pairs that you need me to analyze. We trade indice futures here, U.S. indices of that. So Nasdaq, S&P, Dow. Occasionally, I'll take a look at something for you, but please don't don't bring me a new pair every day for me to analyze. That's not what we're doing here. Now, if you need help in learning how to analyze these yourself, ask any question you have, because that's ultimately where we're trying to get, is where everyone is building up their skills to where they can see the market the way that works for them, and they know what they're seeing. So if there's something that's missing in your education where you need some help on analyzing something, just ask the question and we'll try to help you. Oh yeah, Ray, I see it. Yep, you're right. It's about a 2 or 3 point gap in between there. You're right. It didn't even make it to the breaker. All right, there we go. So I was wanting to see how price would react when it got down to 256. Looked like it's traded below 4 or 5 candles. And now we got a strong bullish candle here, but let's see where it ends, or if it's just a fake out. 2, 3, 4. Yep, yep. And let's see, NQ has overlapped that breaker for the last 4 hours. It's like, and still there now. Okay. If NQ liquidity at the bearish fair value gap was considered taken, then the 1151 candle on the bearish breaker or the 1130 candle. Um, let's see. Well, so far on the 3 minute, the only bearish breaker that's confirmed is, well, I guess it could be 1151. 1151 candle could be one, and 1227. Yeah, I just watched, I think Strange came out with one yesterday, I think, or maybe the day before. I just watched it yesterday. Yep. There's TJ. There he goes. Queen just asked about you. Maybe in 10 minutes, we'll see that bullish breaker on the 1 minute is means something. But as of right now, it looks like it's going to be invalidated. And we have the macro coming up in 10 minutes, and we'll look for something else. You're right, Luke. Still time. We have power hour coming. We still have another macro that we haven't seen. Gold. Well, so the macro itself, ICT explains as a set of instructions where price likes to move towards a point of liquidity. Now, the time that the macro is the last 10 minutes of the hour and the first 10 minutes of the following hour, for the most part. I think there's a couple different ones that are slightly different, but for the most part, that's what it is. So during the macro period, we either look for price to trade to a breaker, or we look for price to form a breaker, or we look for price to change market structure. So create a market structure shift. One of those three things occurs, and then we look for a setup. If none of those happen, then we sit on our hands. Yep, Johan, that's right. Yep. There is Milad. Milad, here's an example of what happened during the macro. So around 12:27, we had a breaker form here on the 3 minute, right? Where price traded above and swept below. You can see here, this candle started at 12:51, which was the beginning of the macro period. It confirmed the breaker by trading below and closing. Then during the same 20-minute period, we had price trade back to it here at 13:03 and 13:06 and 13:09. So within the macro, it traded back in, and that's when you would have been looking to short. And you were able to run down, and you would have been sweeping lows here. So that's just the type of setup that you would look for during the macro. Now you can see that it also traded back into the breaker after the macro was over, and that's fine. Those things still happen as well. But when it happens during the macro, it's higher probability, and that's when you want to take your entry. Back in the macro now. Oh, happy Eid. Happy Eid. All right, adversity. We will catch you on the next one. After a day or so. Okay. Catch you later. See you next time. Okay, so we didn't quite sweep this low over here. Just made sure it traded to at least consequent encroachment of the wick. All right, see if price can find some support somewhere in this leg here. Possibly right here around 253, somewhere in this area. And then we can see it move higher. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Johan. Strange ICT, he's definitely more DTFX. So he looks at market structure the same way Dave does, and they take entries off of it. Okay, all right. I see what you're looking at, Johan. I see you. But that's how you not only gain your edge, but that's also how you come up with your own unique model within a model that you've learned from someone else. Is that you just take it to another level and you see things that make sense to you. Yep. So you saw price take this level, and then this wick right here. Then you saw price take that one. Trade it down, took some liquidity, start buying up, took some liquidity, move back down into equilibrium here as well as this level, whatever that S&D is. So, yeah, it's good that you are seeing things in price that will help you navigate through it as you go forward in your trading journey. And so, Johan, if you were just scalping, once you caught this here, you would have shorted and you would probably try to take it here, 243. giving you very similar results as what you just saw. Oh yeah. You're right, Johan. You can just draw a box and it'll give you the center line. You're right. Let's see if it trades down to 243. If it does, that would have been a 20 pointer that you saw and didn't take. See, there it is. There you have it. Yeah, tough hour. Two o'clock to 3 o'clock didn't really produce very much. But let's see if the next hour can do us better. Let me go back to the 5 minute. Figure out why I have this line here. 15, 3. 10:45 this morning. Oh, that must have been a protected high, and then when it broke through, that confirmed the breaker and market structure shift. Otherwise, all right. So I'll get rid of it. I'll dump this one as well. Mm-mm-mm. All right, I'm gonna check out the 5-minute here. Just this level. So it's gotten to the median point there, consequent encroachment of this level. And let's see if price wants to now react bullish based on reaching that level. So consequent encroachment on the weekly. Last week's wick, the down wick, has been traded to. That actually occurred up in this area around 280. Sorry, my mistake. 180. That was traded to this morning. Ooh, macro finished up with without doing much at all. But that's how it is. Sometimes not every macro delivers something for you. You just have to be ready for it if it does, and if it doesn't, just watch price pass you by and catch the next one. Price just trading into the fair value gap right here, or is it coming to balance this area? Right, it's crossed that area now. Inside of the bearish fair value gap. Let's see if price wants to push through and close above it. All right, it's already pushed through the fair value gap. Now we just want to see if in the next minute and 45, if it closes above. It needs to close above 18,250. TJ, were you in at 18,230 or you were in before that? And that's assuming you're trading Nasdaq. Kobe, yes, sir. Or I'm assuming you're a guy. Sorry about that if I'm wrong. Then it invalidates the fair value gap that's right here. I didn't mark it, but you can see between these two candles, these two wicks is a fair value gap. If it closes above, which it just did, it invalidates that fair value gap, which then gives price a little added encouragement to get up to the swing high and potentially turn things around and we start looking bullish. $238, okay. Hmm. All right. Well, ICT always says between 315 and 345, price wants to make an attempt to go to the midnight open. Not that it needs to go all the way, but it'll start moving in that direction. So this bullish push between 315 and 345 is, I guess, could have been expected. Now, how far it will go, we'll see. Potentially, it may only go to the 1330 open. You're done now. All right. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Look at that. No, it's not just that I trade 5 minutes. I prefer the 5 minutes. I'll trade a three. I'll even trade a one. But I do like to trade them at 10 after the hour or between 50 in the previous hour and 10 after the hour. So I'm always looking for macros to find, not only to find a breaker, but find the entry. Right? About this one here. All right, get another minute here closure. And we could be looking at a fair value gap here. All right, El Infinito. Catch you tomorrow. Oh. All right, Molly. Catch you tomorrow. Let's see. On the 1 minute. Exactly. TJ, there's always tomorrow. Or in your case, there's always this evening. The 1 minute breaker is on the 303 candle. Okay. Let's look and see what the 1 minute has for us. 303. Okay. I mean, what do you think about the one on the 5 minute? That's a little larger and closer to where price is now. Oh, okay. Well, this 1 minute has it marked at the same position between 266 and 258 with the 1 minute fair value gap given the unicorn setup. And then I marked it on the 5 minute, same price, 265 down to 243. And there's also a fair value gap here given the unicorn setup on the 5 as well. And there's the midnight open. So that was the 315 to 345 macros target. And it's been met. Wow, 80-point move, 15 minutes. Yep, 250 candle. Exactly, Queen. Oh, you did? Okay. All right. You should have at least, I guess, been able to get at least probably about 30 points out of it if you waited all the way until it passed above the breaker. But I know you probably took a 1 minute change of state of delivery entry. Oh, man. Jeez. Let's go to the 1 minute here. Look at that. Not a single retracement candle. Yeah, the market's been good today. I'm not going to complain. Even the moments where it was just consolidating, it has to do that. It's not going to move up and down for 7 hours in a row. All right. See if we can get a quick move here that doesn't pull back on me. Looking at the 15-second chart. Fair enough. Had a terrible entry, but 180 is good for a 5-second trade. Mm-hmm. Patience pays, says TJ. All right, Lou, good job. I didn't kill it today, but we're definitely green. We're like right at 1,000 for the day. Yep. If you're watching the stream now and you're enjoying what you see, or you've gotten some value out of today, hit the like button, please. If it's helped you become a more patient trader, hit the like button. Any reason that would show appreciation to all of the others that's in the room, just hit the like button for us. But yeah, in this case, the 5-minute breaker was confirmed on this candle, but it just kept running. It never retraced back down to give you that entry. Um, these type of setups, and this is something that anyone who's interested in breakers or unicorn, this is something you're going to want to practice when you're doing your back testing session. You want to make sure that you are identifying where the breakers are, and then when you see price move, and especially on the time frame you're looking at, when this closes and if it continues to run and it never comes back, you then need to assess whether you could take an entry at the close of this candle and what that stop loss would look like, and whether that was a trade that you were capable of taking and emotionally withstanding. And if you are, then it may be something you want to look into, as sometimes price will just run away from you and it won't provide nice, smooth, timely entries to give you an opportunity to think about it, assess it, analyze it, and then jump in. As you can see, I didn't jump in here, but there are ways that you can get in, whether on a smaller time frame, or as I said, you just understand what's at hand here and what's at stake, and be willing to take an entry, one contract, and then if price retraces back down into the breaker, maybe you add a second contract on, or since you took your first contract up here, instead of taking a second contract right at the breaker, make price retrace in to give you a half entry. So then the average of the two gives you an entry right here at the edge of the breaker. And then if it doesn't retrace back, then you just end up with one contract on, but at least you're in the trade and it's moving in your direction. Lots of patience, Floyd. You're right about that. All the way to the end. But that's why power hour is called that. Time is running out. So if price needs to make a move today, it needs to get to a certain level. When you get to the final hour, then you know the trade's going to happen. You're not going to have to wait much longer. Reviews, no problem. I was waiting on you, Vivian. Couldn't take the trade without you at the charts. Yep, M, you're right about that. That's a good observation. Sweet. Look at that, HCE. Good job. Way to go. Yeah, and another thing is, because it is after 3 o'clock and time is of the essence, that's another reason why you may not get that retracement. Price may just need to go ahead and move to where it's going. And we can see where it landed. The lime green area is the new week opening gap. So this is the opening Sunday night at 1800. So if you go to the weekly chart and you look at your weekly candle, you'll see that there is no body. It's just a wick above, wick below. Our lunchtime high was at 18,304. I never put it up here because remember I said it was the exact same level as the midnight open, but price just ran right through it. Didn't matter. No problem. No, like I've mentioned many times before, I'm pulling from you just as much as I'm giving. I'm giving to those who started behind me and has a lot to gain, but some of you have more knowledge than I have in some of these areas. So we're all learning. We're all pulling. Yeah, Queen, you're right. And for a day without news, I mean, this is all. I mean, what else? What more do you want? Like, what else can you ask for? We've still got about 30 minutes left in this afternoon session. So let's see if we get another entry or another impulse movement from price action. Before price gets away from us, I just want to highlight something I noticed on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour seems to be held by this fair value gap here. Now we talk a lot about higher time frame analysis, higher time frame uh, confirmations, and we had a big push through this morning, and still before 2 o'clock, it closed above. Then even after 2 o'clock, we had another push lower for 50 points or so, and now we're trading 100 points higher than that. So I just wanted to highlight that on the 4 hour, we have been bullish, not necessarily bullish, but price is being held, even though we're inside of a 1 hour bearish fair value gap. Price is being held and pushing higher, so it wants to dig a little deeper, possibly even get into this April 5th lunch high. Not necessarily today, but soon. Let me get back down to lower time frames since we're already at 3:45. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about this breaker here at the top. I outlined it just because I saw it and I wasn't sure if it was going to mean something for price coming up. But originally, I really liked the one that was down lower, the one that price never came back to. Let's go here and see if we can get somewhere with this. Yeah, Queen, same here, same here. I was able to take the entries that I wanted to take and feel comfortable with the stop losses I had and take 25-point victories as opposed to always zooming out and seeing some far away PDA rate that I wanted price to go to. And that's why today's been a good day. I just looked it up and yep, definitely a good day for me. Right, 90 seconds. So let me go ahead and switch down to the 1 minute. Midnight open might be a nice little place for price to bounce and see if it does. Macro in 1 minute. All right, there we have it. Looks like potentially the midnight open is that bounce location. All right, now that we're in the macro, let's see if it retests one more time. I want to take this entry, but I don't want to be greedy. And I just talked about having a good day. And so I'm going to stay out, but I really want. Fish lips. Uh, oh, wow. Tactical reviews. No. Ah, jeez. Oh, that must be tough to accept right now. Yeah, definitely when you restart your eval, or just go back through your trades today, go and review them. First, just to lift your spirits a bit, go and review the winning trades that got you almost close to passing. But then go back and see where things went wrong, and try to figure out what you'd like to do differently in the future. Me, I'll take an entry in my demo account. Therefore, I can still feed the urge without doing any damage. I'm looking at long. I'm going long. Long from the midnight open. Risk off now, break even. Yep. Yeah, I'm in demo. Same here. Long in demo. Right. Close it. Saw 400 in profit. And I said, that's enough. I grab this breaker here from the 5-minute. Yep, it's this one candle there. Did we have a, yep, we sure did. I don't know what to make of this though. This fair value gap as far as being as far as being a unicorn where the fair value gap is twice the size of the breaker. Yeah, target the 8:30 open now. I got in at 306, I think. Jeez. And let's see. You know what? Let's my apologies if someone is using my screen and are in the middle of a trade. I'm just gonna watch the indices trade the final 5 minutes together, or the final 3 minutes of this hour. We still got 10 minutes on the next, during the next hour before prop firms close the trades out. So we'll stay on for another 10 minutes on the other side of the hour. Wait a minute. Price made it all the way up to 350. Whoa. Okay. I got in at 306. Now the real question is, which time frame had the market make a buy model that we should have been looking for? I don't know, Pandora. I would have argued yesterday the market was ranging, right? This was yesterday afternoon. Was it? I'm sorry, this was yesterday afternoon. This cluster of like 4 small candles here. And even in the morning, it was up and then down, up and then down. So you can actually trade that. It was, I mean, you got a decent range there. But the afternoon yesterday was, yeah, this was not much at all. Every hour is giving you 40 points, maybe. I didn't see I mean, we had a slow period here, but that was after the 10 o'clock just completely gave a monster move for anyone who got in up here, and several people in the room got in up there and was able to take 150 points. And now look at 3 o'clock. So I don't know. I would argue that it's not ranging and that today's price action was pretty good. Um, and if you miss the entries, then I mean, I don't know what else to say. 372. Wow, another 70 points after my late entry at 350-ish. All right, lunchtime high is in sight. All right, JR, take care. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, hip. So this was Friday's lunch high, which maybe that was even maybe that was the high of Friday. And that's what it looks like. Yep, looks like that was Friday's high. I wish I held my long too. I'd be up 80 points right now, and that was on a late entry. That's not even super early. TJ was the one in down here. I don't know, 240 or something like that. But Pandora, yeah, you got to realize that's what the market is trying to do. It's trying to tire you out. It's trying to get you to lose your focus and close your laptop and say, all right, nothing's happening today. I'll come back tomorrow. And look at what happened the last 45 minutes of the hour. There it is, April 5th high. I think it's within a couple ticks of it right now. So far, showing a high at 407 and a quarter. It needs to get to 408 and a quarter. So 1 point short. Yeah, I'm starting to learn how to on these runs like this to move down to a smaller time frame, like 30 seconds, and find an entry. Absolutely, all this without news. So we may be getting set up for tomorrow morning for the bottom to fall out. So since we took yesterday's low and high today, the question is usually you get your high or your low on Tuesday, depending on the weekly range. And so the question is, did we put in the high of the week today or the low? I laughed to look at that. Good job. Way to close out the day. Oh, Queen, you were in around when TJ was in, a few points away. All right. Yeah, those changes, state of deliveries, you guys were in super early. Oh, yeah, there's Bob. Hey, Bob, what's going on? You're right. Better take that high. It's only a point away. Good job, Bob. Way to go. Crushing it, Vivian. Yeah, I cleared over 1,000 for the first time in a while, in a day. And I didn't catch the 10 o'clock down, and I didn't catch a lot out of this move either, and still was able to clear 1,000. Yes, tomorrow I think the news is at 8:30, and then at I think there's a medium impact at 10, and then there's another high impact at 1. I think tomorrow, or maybe that's Thursday. All right, let's just quickly take a look. All right, so we got core CPI at 8:30. We got a 10-year bond auction at 1, which is medium impact, and then we have FOMC minutes at 2, which is high impact. So tomorrow's going to be quite eventful, but hopefully we get some big swings. Thank you, M. Appreciate it. Thanks, Laughter. All right, let's see if price can run up through this high here before 10 after. Yeah, it's about 10 points from there now. So you've let it retrace 10 points already. You know what? Let's get down to something manageable, the 30-second, and see what happens. All right, I'll do you one better. We'll do the 15. So it'll give us about 6 more candles. Gonna leave equal, relative equal highs. Okay. All right, that'll give it something to target tomorrow. We'll retrace, hit a fair value gap or a breaker or something, and then run for this 18,408. Which one? What price? So the previous high is 18,408 and a quarter. Today's high at 1603 reached 18,407 and a quarter. So 1 point shy of taking it. All right, there it is, 1610. Time is over. Didn't quite make it. Opening here is at 18,393. But hopefully it doesn't reach for it now that it's after prop firm time. Yep. Anyway, hope everyone had a good session today. I know I certainly did. Sometimes waiting around can be a little tedious, but we find a way to fight through it and still enjoy the session. Any final questions or comments? Any finals? All right, TJ, catch you tomorrow. Okay, all right, so that'll do it. Seems like there aren't any questions or anything remaining. So yep, as usual, on your way out, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. We need some new subscribers, so hopefully those who haven't will consider doing so on your way out. And we're back at it tomorrow morning at 9:15. Everyone have a good evening. I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.